It is an exciting time when you are offered a position, but with that comes a process and language you may be unfamiliar with. During this presentation, we welcome CSP's Director of Human Resources, Melissa Becker, to share her knowledge. Topics to be discussed include receiving the offer, reviewing the benefit package, negotiating salary, saving for your future, and what to expect the first few weeks. Now I'll turn it over to Melissa Becker.
Well, I think one of the most exciting things about the job search process actually is receiving the offer. And the great thing is that you will have lots of opportunities to talk through an offer and to be able to maybe even negotiate an offer. So there are two different ways that an offer may come to you. The first is a verbal offer, and that typically is in the form of a phone call, or it may even be in a meeting that you have at the organization for which you are applying for a job. It's important to be excited and to be thankful when that verbal offer comes in. After all, the employee has just spent a lot of time getting to this point, and you know that because you've been there along the way with them. If you haven't received it yet, note that you should receive a salary offer with a full benefit package and costs. And that typically will outline all of the benefits available for you that will be provided for you or that you can elect, and a cost breakdown so that you can look at that salary offer along with the cost of the benefits to make sure that it's going to meet your financial and benefit needs. Note that when you receive that verbal offer, it's okay to ask for a couple of days to review the offer before you accept. Some things to think about is that you might want to talk with a family member who's important to you or a significant other to talk through the offer and make sure that you have all of the questions asked that you need to have answered. Or maybe you have a couple of irons in the fire and you're waiting to see what else might come through. It's important not to take too many days. A day or two is adequate really to review an offer. And if you're really not committed to that offer after a day or two and you're kind of waiting for the next best thing to come along, it's okay to wait for that as well. Know that you can always respond with questions and clarifications when that verbal offer comes through for you. And even if you don't have questions and clarifications because you're so excited when you get the verbal offer, it's okay to call back and to ask some questions if need be. Then there is also an official paper offer. And some organizations will actually do two of these. So some organizations like Concordia will actually call and give a verbal offer. And then when the potential employee has accepted that verbal offer, they will then send an official offer via paper or via a letter format. Once you receive that letter, be sure to look it over fully, make sure that it meets the terms that you discussed and that it's fully consistent with the agreement. And once you are ready to accept, you'll sign that official paperwork. Know that many organizations, especially with the recent situations in the world, have moved to electronic signatures. So you would just receive that via an electronic platform like Adobe Sign or DocuSign, and then you can sign that right on your computer or on your mobile device. Some companies are still doing official paper copies of letters, and in those cases, you would wet sign it with a signature and then send it into the organization. Know that that official paper offer should always include the salary and the start date. And if those items are not consistent with what's been discussed, it's okay to go back and ask for a correction. Many times it will also include an employment at will statement. Minnesota is an employment at will state, which means that either the employee or the employer reserves the right to terminate employment at any time with or without cause. All that means for you is that you go there and you do your very, very best, and hopefully you're performing to standards. And if not, you'll get feedback in order to improve and to grow. It does also, though, provide a provision so that you're not contractually obligated to remain an employer if it's not the right fit for you. So receiving the offer is a very, very exciting part of the job search, but it doesn't mean that all of the decisions are yet made. You might have some additional questions and things that you need to sort through before making that final decision. So you've received your offer, and now you need to really look at that compensation to make sure that it's going to meet your needs. In doing that, it's important that we kind of look at understanding compensation so that you know what that offer might mean for you. The Fair Labor Standards Act presents two classifications of employees. To be exempt, you would be a salaried employee who is not entitled by law to overtime pay. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't make overtime pay, as some employers do allow pay for hours that are worked over 40 hours in a work week. However, it is to the employer's discretion. Some employers, in lieu of overtime pay, though, will create an employee benefits package with some extra perks. Maybe there's extra PTO, or maybe if you work all of your hours before Friday at noon, you get to leave early on Fridays. In general, though, to be considered an exempt employee, you must be paid by salary, not hourly, and you must perform the executive, administrative, or professional duties. On the other hand is the non-exempt employee, and somebody who is classified as non-exempt would be an hourly employee who is entitled to overtime pay through the stipulations of the Fair Labor Standards Act. So hourly employees who are paid a certain dollar amount per hour, are required to be paid overtime pay at a rate of time and a half the regular rate of pay when hours worked are more than 40 hours in a given pay week. Again, note that some states have expanded overtime pay guidelines, and so you'll want to know what those guidelines are if you are offered a non-exempt position so that you can track your pay and ensure that you're being compensated correctly. Diving a little bit deeper into understanding compensation, it's important for you to understand the difference between gross income and net income. Gross income is a person's total income earned before taxes and other deductions have been withheld. Earned income includes salaries, wages, bonuses and tips, and self-employment income. Net income, then, is a person's income earned after deductions and taxes have been withheld. Net income is the percentage of pay that you take home in your pocket from each paycheck. There are some legally mandated or statutory withholdings on paychecks, which include federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and state and local income tax in states and municipalities where they are legally required. In addition, there are other deductions that impact your net income, and they might include health or medical plans, a dental coverage, 401k or 403b, different retirement plans, and then flexible dependent care or flexible medical care plans that you might elect to participate in. So we've talked about the compensation or money side of what you will be earning for doing the job that you accept. But it's also important to look at the total compensation, which is also comprised of the benefits that you're offered. Benefits are intended to complement the salary for a total package of compensation. They do attract and retain employees, so it's important to really look at your benefit plans to see what's available to you. And they also typically comprise about 30% of a person's compensation package, which is actually quite a lot. Benefits do fall into two categories. There are required benefits that are mandated by law, and discretionary benefits, which an employer chooses to make available to their employees because it's attractive to them and it helps support their employee population. Let's look a little bit at benefits that are required by law. The first benefit in this listing is Social Security, and Social Security was established by the federal government years ago to be a retirement program for employees to assist in paying for the cost of living after they retire from the workforce. Next is unemployment insurance, and unemployment insurance is coverage that organizations participate in to assist employees who find themselves unable to work. Workers' compensation then is medical coverage that is again funded by the employer, and it is intended to assist employees who have work-related accidents to help pay for any medical care that is needed, as well as time away from work due to an inability to work based on an accident that occurred on the premises of your job and during work activity. FMLA leave time, or the Family Medical Leave Act, is a benefit, but it's not something that actually gets you paid. FMLA is required unpaid leave time for family-related issues, which may include taking care of an elderly parent, assisting in caring for or taking care of a new baby in your home, whether that be by adoption or by the birth of a baby. Um, FMLA is really intended to ensure that somebody can leave the workplace and have time away to handle their own illness or a family related need, and then be able to come back without experiencing negative reduction in benefits or reduction in pay or position after they return. And then finally, with the Affordable Care Act, health insurance has become required by law to be able to provide for employees. It's not required to have a family plan, but an employee plan is required. Some firms and some jobs are exempt from that health insurance requirement based on size and those types of things. But really, for all intents and purposes, health insurance is now legally required to be provided to all employees that work full-time. In addition to required benefits, many employers will also offer a number of optional benefits that consist of even more than what's on this slide. As you can see on the bottom point, disability is actually one of the most valued benefit programs. And disability is an insurance policy basically that covers a portion of the employee's pay when a medical condition prevents them from being able to work for wages. Life insurance is usually provided by employers, and many times an employer will offer a basic life insurance plan at a relatively lower amount, and then offer an option to supplement that plan, either for an enhanced plan for the employee or to add a plan for their spouse or their dependent children. Third on the list is pensions, and pensions are a great thing and not very common anymore. A pension is similar to a 403B or a 401k, but it's funded by the employer. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Paid time off, or PTO, is very common. Some employers do still separate between vacation time and sick time, but many have moved toward putting it all in one bucket and calling it PTO. PTO then is usually for the purposes of taking vacation and rest and recuperation time, having extended holidays, personal days to take care of personal items, or sick leave to take care of yourself or a family member who's ill. Employee assistance programs are really, really great benefits and oftentimes are very little known. Employee assistance programs can assist with a number of things, such as finding dependent care or housing assistance. Many employee assistance programs will cover an initial legal consultation or assist you with writing a will. Probably the most popular reason that employee assistance programs are used is for counseling services or substance addiction counseling. It's important to point that probably the two most valued benefits are the health or medical insurance and disability coverage. Since we mentioned that the health benefit tends to be the most valued benefit that employers can provide, let's look at some common terms so that you can understand how your plan will work. The first term is the premium. The premium is the monthly amount that you pay in order to have health insurance. It's kind of like your auto insurance. You maintain a certain amount of pay so that you can have that health insurance coverage should you experience a need for it. Next is the deductible, or the amount out of pocket that you need to pay before the insurance company pays its share. There is also the coinsurance, or the percentage of cost that you're responsible to pay after you've paid your deductible. And finally, for paying for your healthcare costs is the copay. The copay is the cost that you pay for specific medical services and supplies like office visits or prescriptions. All of these different things then come together to encompass your full health benefit and your out-of-pocket costs. As you're looking at your offer of employment, it's important to look at these things, especially if you or a dependent family member has a need for continued care, has a chronic health condition, or a need for regular medications and prescriptions. You'll want to look at all of these different pieces to ensure that the money that you will be paying for your healthcare costs is able to be covered reasonably and affordably by the pay that you receive. In addition, there are options for you to save to help pay toward your health care. As you consider the cost of your health care, it's important for you to also consider how you might save toward medical care costs. This slide represents a number of different savings plans that you might be able to utilize depending on your employer's benefit elections. The first is an HSA or a health savings account. The HSA is owned by the employee, and the beauty of it is that the account balance can roll from year to year if you don't have need for using it, all the way up to retirement age. The one caveat for an HSA is that the employee must be enrolled in a qualified high deductible health plan to be able to utilize it and save toward it. The next option is an FSA or a flexible spending account, also owned by the employee. The tricky piece of an FSA is that the account balance typically is not able to be rolled over to the next year's use, and if there is a rollover, it generally is for only a period of 3 to 6 months. Finally is the HRA or health reimbursement account, which is owned and fully stipulated by the employer. So imagine that you have been job searching and now you have two offers on the table. You have to compare the two and determine what is the right offer for you. Offer A may include things like a $40,000 salary, $150 a month to help subsidize parking fees, and $250 a month to go toward your benefits that you elect, equating to about $35,200. Offer B, on the other hand, might offer $36,000 worth of salary, which initially is $4,000 lower. But they may offer free parking and then $150 a month toward benefits, reducing the offer to $34,200. This illustrates how two different offers can kind of come closer together depending on what the rest of the package outside of the salary alone entails. Sometimes, though, you need to look at the salary and look at the benefits, and it may be important for you to negotiate to see if you can get an even better offer. If you'd like to get a better starting salary or benefit offer, you really do have to ask for it. Job seekers too often accept the first number that's put on the table. And when presented with a job and a salary offer, remember that tact and having done your homework and research are the keys to your success. Really, different employers and industries have very different approaches to salary offers. Some employers will start with the max of what they are able to offer and say, this is the best that we can do for you. Others, on the other hand, will leave room for negotiation. So how do you go about that process? Robert Half, a national leader in the staffing industry, has presented some great ideas and tips for negotiating salary. First, familiarize yourself with industry salary trends. While you may think that you deserve a higher starting salary in your new position, the national and local job markets might say otherwise. Then build your case. Explain why you feel you deserve more. Highlight your strengths and detail what you offer that may be unique from another candidate. Next, consider non-salary benefits. It may be less costly for the employer to give ground on extra vacation days or on professional development funds. So if the salary is not able to be moved, maybe there are some other areas that they might be able to be more generous in. Then practice. Ask a friend or a mentor to rehearse the conversation you're likely to have with your new hiring manager. The ideal partner really is someone from your field who can coach you on projecting confidence and answering any unexpected questions. Next, get the details in writing. Once you and the hiring manager have settled on a compensation package, be sure to ask for documentation of your salary and any special arrangements in writing. Failure to do so may mean that you're not actually able to receive that negotiated amount or negotiated benefit. Finally, stay professional. Keeping your tone positive really will help you more effectively navigate the discussions. While your goal is to earn what you're worth, the manager most likely does have some limitations on what the company can offer. When negotiating salary and perks, be polite and tactful. If they can't meet your demands, you have the right to either accept the job or to decline it gracefully. But at the end of the day, the only answer that you will get to a question that you haven't asked is no. So there's never any harm in asking and trying to negotiate for a different salary or a better benefit package. We've talked quite a bit about compensation during this presentation, but compensation really is about the building blocks that you need to become financially well throughout the course of life. It's important to know where your money is coming from. How much pay are you receiving? How much pay should you be receiving? Are you receiving market value for your skills and abilities? It's also important to know where your money is going. Many people don't do this, but it is so important to maintain an emergency fund that will help you to cover 3 to 6 months of time without pay should something happen with your position or happen in your life where you can't work. And then finally, for financial wellness, it's important to protect all of your hard work. You work for a reason, and that's to make an income, but you also want to protect that hard work. Financial wellness then will begin with saving for your future, and you can do that in a number of ways. First is Social Security. Remember, that's the government-mandated retirement plan. Next is pensions or retirement plans, including 401ks or 403bs. There's also the option for personal savings, putting money in the bank or putting money in an IRA, independent retirement account. And then finally, other income, other ways that you're able to generate an income to help build your compensation portfolio. As you look at savings options, it's important to look at how you can personally save for your future. And you have two different options. The first is an IRA or an individual retirement account, which is individually established. There are options for pre-tax and after-tax Roth savings opportunities or deductions from your pay. However, with an IRA, there are income limits. In the year 2020, the maximum contribution limit into an IRA was only $6,000, with an option for a $1,000 age catch-up if you haven't saved enough in your youth to be able to contribute and make sure that you're well provided for in retirement. 403b and 401ks, on the other hand, are employer-sponsored, so they're not individually established. Your employer sponsors it, and then they take that deduction for you. There is both also the pre-tax and after-tax Roth savings opportunity. However, there are no income limits for a 403b and a 401k, and the 2020 contribution limit is significantly higher at $19,500 with a $6,000 maximum for age catch-up. So, as you look at this, 403bs and 401ks do tend to be more attractive in terms of a savings plan. However, not every employer offers the option for 403b or 401ks, and so some people do elect to save toward their future through an IRA. I mentioned on the prior slide the idea of traditional pre-tax and after-tax Roth deductions. So let's talk about those just a bit further. In the traditional pre-tax option, the benefit is that you can lower your taxable income now. So if you make $1,000 in your paycheck and you decide to contribute 10% of your income toward saving for your future, in a traditional pre-tax option, that would lower your taxable income to $900 for your paycheck, and only the $900 would be taxed. However, in a traditional pre-tax option, distributions that you take at retirement age will be subject to income taxes at that time. On the other hand, an after-tax Roth option allows you to save after tax now. So, if you made $1,000 in a paycheck and you participated in an after-tax Roth option, if you made $1,000, your income would be taxed at $1,000, and then your Roth contribution would be deducted. The benefit of the after-tax Roth option is that earnings are generally tax-free for qualified distributions. So once you get to retirement age, you've already paid the taxes on your after-tax Roth distributions, and generally earnings will not then be taxed at the time when you are at retirement age. One thing to consider regarding these two options is that we know what taxes are out there now. We never know how high the taxes are going to be when we get to retirement age. So that sometimes does tip the scale when somebody is weighing the two options regarding how they might contribute to their own savings for future. Regardless, the earlier that you begin saving, the more able you are to develop a nest egg and develop that retirement account that will be robust enough to help pay for you comfortably once you hit retirement age. To illustrate this a little bit more, because some people are visual learners, let's think of saving for your future as a family tree. And Grandpa Tree has all of these different options: traditional pre-tax IRA, after-tax Roth IRA, independent savings accounts, and then retirement savings, and over here on the right side, 403b and 401k options. On top of that, you also have the traditional pre-tax and after-tax Roth 403b and 401k option. If you put $6,500 into a traditional pre-tax IRA or an after-tax Roth IRA, that is the maximum that you can contribute. On the other side of the tree, if you're contributing to a traditional pre-tax or after-tax Roth 403b or 401k, that's a mouthful, your maximum contribution is $19. So, in saving for your future, consider this. Experts really recommend setting aside 10 to 15% of your income for retirement, but even smaller amounts can add up over time. When you look at the age of 30, if you do 1 times your salary, the amount that you save for the course of your entire career would be the equivalent of putting aside 10 times your salary at the age of 67. So, as a graduation gift to yourself, start saving for retirement with your first paycheck. Really, if you start a deduction right away and start contributing right away, you won't even know what you're missing because that money is out of your paycheck and you don't get used to seeing it. So start saving for your future early because the dividends will be very, very worthwhile. Looking at it from just a little bit different of a lens so that we can make sure that we're being fully transparent and you can make great retirement savings decisions. It's important to note that retirement benefits help you to maintain a steady income in retirement. Many people cannot live on Social Security retirement alone. Retirement benefits from employers usually take the form of pensions or savings accounts like a 403b or a 401k. Pensions typically are funded and managed only by the employer, so most often a pension is 100% paid toward by the employer. There's nothing that comes out of your paycheck. However, employees must work for the employer for a certain number of years before they become vested or entitled to the benefit upon retirement age. Savings plans, however, are typically funded and managed by the employee, so the employee can choose what funds they're going into, how aggressive of an investment they want to make, and employers can also contribute through fixed contributions or matching contributions. So, if you are offered a benefit package that has a 401k or a 403b and you don't see anything in the materials, it's a really, really good idea to ask, do you have a match to your retirement savings plan? And if so, what is the matching contribution? Now that we've talked about saving for retirement, let's talk a little bit about life insurance benefits. Life insurance benefits are sometimes referred to as group term life, and they are employer-sponsored life insurance benefits that help support you and or your family after death. The benefit is usually calculated as a multiple of the employee's salary, and as I said earlier, there may be opportunities to purchase additional coverage as an active employee or even to continue the coverage after leaving the employer. Employees may also then receive a benefit if a covered dependent passes away, and this can assist with funeral costs. You may need additional life insurance in order to protect the people that you might leave behind should you pass away, or you may need to purchase it on your own if your employer doesn't offer life insurance or the offer that they have available to you is not enough to cover needs if you were to pass away. In addition to retirement and life insurance, saving for your future through the form of disability is a wise choice as well. Disability benefits help support you and or your family if you are unable to work because of a medical condition. It's important to note that benefits are usually paid as a percentage of your salary, and 60 to 70% is common. Note that there is usually an elimination period or a certain length of time that you have to go without pay or utilizing PTO benefits before your benefits can begin. If your employer doesn't offer this as a benefit, you might want to consider purchasing disability insurance on your own in order to assist you should you find that you are unable to work because of a medical condition. So we've talked about a number of the benefits that you can't even imagine right now at this point in your life that you're going to need. Let's talk about some of the other benefits out there that are discretionary or that might be optional for your employee to offer. First is childcare or elder care. As young families, you might have young children, and being able to have savings accounts where you can help to put money away to pay for childcare, or if you have elderly parents and need to assist to pay for their life costs, that could be a benefit. Tuition assistance programs are very, very popular. You may decide that you want to go on to an additional degree, and so you might decide that you want to look for an employer that offers the opportunity for you to continue to develop as a professional through a tuition assistance program. Many different organizations offer product discounts, whether it's a product that they create and produce and provide, or discounts through other organizations. Flexible work schedules and work from home options tend to be a very, very attractive benefit to individuals who are graduating from college in these recent years. A flexible work schedule might mean that you have hours within which you need to work. So you need to work between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. and whatever time you do it is fine as long as you get your 40 hours in. Or it might give you the option to work for 10-hour days and have 3-day weekends every week. Work from home is also very, very popular. It allows you to have the flexibility to work in a more casual environment, to maybe be closer to appointments that would be close to your home. And so those can be very attractive options. There is also the opportunity for employees sometimes to purchase supplemental unemployment benefits in case there is working in a field where unemployment is more common. Perhaps somebody is working in a very seasonal field, or for long-term care insurance. Again, these tend to be discretionary benefits. Not all employers offer all of these options. Some employers offer some of them, and some employers don't offer any. But if there isn't anything listed regarding additional discretionary benefits, you can always ask, is this the full benefit package? And if you have a question about something specific, don't be afraid to ask for additional information. So, you've gotten your verbal offer, you've gotten your offer in writing, you've reviewed your benefits package, you know that you are making the very best decision in terms of your employment. And now you fast forward to your very first day on the job. Think ahead about what you should bring. In fact, ask your hiring manager, is there anything specific you would like for me to bring? For instance, every manager will tell you that you will need to bring documentation to verify your eligibility to work in the United States and your identity, which is typically a driver's license and a social security card or a passport. So minimally, be sure to bring that. But also be prepared for your day. Bring a notebook, bring a pen, maybe bring a lunch if lunch hasn't been talked about and you don't know what you might be doing for lunch so that you can make sure that you have something to eat. Maybe bring a sweater in case it is a colder environment for you, okay? So think through what you should bring for your first day so that you can have everything that you need to succeed. Also consider what to wear. You will probably have had an opportunity to see what the work environment is like based on the interviews that you have had on site. However, if you're uncertain, be sure to ask. I always think it's a good rule of thumb. I would rather be a little bit overdressed than a little bit underdressed, especially on a first day of work. So I oftentimes recommend that people wear a business suit or something similar to what they wore for their interview for their first day to make that great impression on the first day. You also want to make sure that you're beginning to establish a relationship with your boss. that you're starting to get to know them, that you understand them, how they maybe communicate or how they lead. And that starts as early as day one. And then request to have regular check-ins. Request a 30-day, a 60-day, and a 90-day check-in so that you can receive feedback on how you're doing and on ways that you can continue to develop and grow in order to give you the best opportunity to succeed in your new job. And then suddenly, you just know that it's time to start something new and to trust the magic of beginnings. Getting that first job offer is so exciting and it's so scary all at the same time. And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes when we're nervous or just a little bit scared, it just means that it's important to us. We want to do well. We want to succeed. Just do your work on the front end. Make sure that you're asking the questions, make sure that you're fully informed, and make sure that you're taking some professional risks, professionally, of course, so that you can continue to develop and learn and grow after you finished college and as you start your new professional career. I wish you the very, very best of luck. If I can do anything to assist you in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I know the Career Development Office is a great continuing resource for you to utilize if ever you have questions, you need a little bit of coaching, or it's time for you to look for your next opportunity. Thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you all the best and blessings for your future.
Thank you again, Melissa, for sharing your knowledge. If you have any additional questions on career-related topics, please visit our website. You can also email us at careerdevelopment@csp.edu.